Hey, I'm Papa G, and we're back once again with installing Santos Red. At this point in time, it is version 4.8.4. So, you have everything installed up to this point. Your game, you have the game, you have RagePluginHook, you have RageNativeUI, you have the HeapAdjuster, you have the PackfileLimitAdjuster. You have all that you need. You actually fired up the game and found, hey, it works. But is there more? Yes, there is. That's only if you want it. These are options. You do not need to install them. These are options. What we're first going to do is we're going to go into you see we're in Grand Theft Auto plugins, right? We're going to click on the we're going to click on the Santos Red folder. We're going to go up here to alternative configs. I'm going to explain some of these for you, not all of them, but I'm going to explain some of them for you. EUP. The EUP folder is going to contain these XMLs. If there is a README here, now I highly advise this because I know many people don't do this. If you see a file named README text, don't just look at it and assume that, oh, okay, I just read it because I looked at the title of the file. It said README. Okay, I read it. No, this README text contains, if you double click it, information, and that information pertains to what you are trying to do. I think there is only one README file in the Santos Red that doesn't tell you. I think it is, and I think it's I really don't know at this moment. We'll probably see it. So what this tells you, I could read it to you, but my reading's not going to be good because the words are all blurry. It says pre-made config. That's important. It's pre-made. That's what these XMLs are out here, okay? These are, when they say config, it means these XMLs. So it's a pre-made config, right? For the Emergency Uniforms Pack, EUP. The Emergency Uniforms Pack, Law and Order, and Emergency Uniforms Pack, Serve and Rescue. There are two of them, okay? If you want to use this and you don't want any other cars, like cars that were made for LSR that Gresk made up, if you don't want those, Gresk and several, I should correct myself. He uses vehicles from other creators and makes up the emergency vehicles. Okay, but if you want to use your own emergency vehicles or vanilla vehicles, this is what you want to use if you want your LEOs or your first responders to be using the Emergency Uniforms Pack. I'm going to say this right now, and forgive me because I'm looking for my mouse cursor. Okay, let's do this real quick. I'm going to emphasize this right now. We're going to go back to alternative configs. You see this emergency full expanded jurisdiction, right? And this EUP, they're right here together. You do not use these together. I'm going to get on that here in a moment. I'm going to emphasize this again. The EUP folder and the full expanded jurisdiction folder, you do not use these together. So if you want just the uniforms, you're going to use EUP. If you want the uniforms from EUP mods and the vehicles from LSR that are made up, okay, that have been customized for the mod, you're going to use full expanded jurisdiction. Okay? Do we understand that? EUP is just for the uniforms. Full expanded jurisdiction is for the uniforms and vehicles. So, what that tells you, remember when I said the XMLs are the configs? When they refer to configs, it's referring to XMLs, those files. So we're going to look at, let's say we wanted to install full expanded jurisdiction. We want the uniforms and vehicles both. We're going to go in here. Again, there is a README. Let's close out this one. There is a README. It's got a lot more words in it. It's got a lot more words in it, but the installation is right down below. It tells you you need both. It says base, but it's actually the base is Law and Order. Okay, I think this was before. I don't know when this was written, but it should say EUP Law and Order. Okay, and EUP Serve and Rescue. Okay, all right. You could even see it down here in the download thing, Law and Order. Right, you can see it right there. Law and Order. That's the first one. So what you need to do is you need to go to lcpdfr.com. We're going to go to this link. We're going to go to downloads. We're going to go to essential mods. And we're going to scroll down here until we get to the EUP mod, Law and Order. We're going to click on that. And once you get here, you download it, follow the instructions. But you also need, if we scroll down further, it'll take us right to the link of it, Serve and Rescue. You're going to download this one. You're going to install it. Okay, follow the directions. Okay, that's all. So you need to install those two first. You need to install first Law and Order, then install Serve and Rescue. We got that done. Okay. Now, after you do that, this is also where you can make a decision. Usually if people are doing this, they're going to use the full. So I'm just going to do the full. The vanilla PEDs makeup, what this does is it uses the vanilla PEDs uniforms, right? So if you have, we do this README, you want to use the built-in PEDs along with the full expanded jurisdiction vehicles. Is that what you want to do? So what that's saying is, do you want to use the vanilla PEDs without EUP installed? Without that installed, do you want to use the vanilla PEDs with the full expanded jurisdiction vehicles? This is what you install then. Okay. So, but usually we want the full. So we're going to come here. You're going to copy all of these XMLs except for this README file. And how I did this is I hold down left click. I drag my mouse up till everything's highlighted. Now hold down Control, press the README. It unhighlights that one. Now you're going to take these, copy and paste into your main Los Santos Red. Let me just do this real quick. Into your main Los Santos Red folder. You're going to drop those XMLs in here. Now what you're going to do next, we need to install, up here where it says files in this folder, we need to install the OIV. How you do that is you use Open4, have that fired up, right? And I do suggest, I know people I've seen videos of them just drag and dropping it in here. I do it the proper way and have never had a problem. The only time I've ever had a problem is when the assembly XML was incorrect. I've worked with people that dragged and dropped it, and it did not do it correctly. I'm going to assume, now I am assuming this. If a developer of OpenIV wants to correct me on it, they can. But to me, thinking logically, if OpenIV was meant to be just a drag and drop, they would not have made tools. So what we're going to do for the OIV is we're going to come to the package installer right down here. You're going to click, I'm going to do this again. You're going to be in edit mode. You're going to go to tools. You're going to go to package installer. Once the package installer highlights, you're going to find the location of the OIV you want to install. Okay? It's that simple. So I can go ahead and do this again. Full expanded jurisdiction, files, Gresk FVJ installer OIV. I'm going to do this. I'm going to push install. Now, if your Open4 is installed correctly, set up correctly, this game folder should not be highlighted at all. It is only the mods folder. It's only going to allow me to do stuff in the mods folder. If your game folder is highlighted, you need to go back and watch a video to see how to get it not to have it highlighted, because you can do accidents. You can accidentally install it into your vanilla files, and you don't want to fuck with your vanilla files. You always want to do the mods folder. That's what the mods folder is for. So we click that, we press install, and now it's going to install it for us. We're just going to sit here for a second or two. We're going to close it. It installed. Here's another thing that I mark as favorites, my DLC packs. See how I have it listed as a favorites? It automatically opens right to the directory, and we're going to see, even though I had it installed already, full expanded jurisdiction is installed. We can actually do it over here, right there. We can see. Now, when you first install it, it's going to show up at the bottom of this list, all right, of this list right here. It's going to show up at the bottom. Once you close OpenIV and open it again, it does it in alphabetical order, but new stuff, it adds it to the bottom. So you can always look at the bottom. But here, full expanded jurisdiction, we can branch that out. We can branch that out a little bit more. We can do here. We can see all of the vehicles that it installed. Right? Same thing with full modern traffic, right? Let's look at full modern traffic. Look at all these vehicles that Gresk has worked on. Look at this. Watch. Watch this shit. Watch this shit. Bam! Look at this. Look at this. Look at all these vehicles he's worked on. And he mainly does. I don't think there's any other vehicles except vanilla. I may be wrong. I don't know. But these are all the vehicles he's worked on, or that he has asked permission from other creators to use their vehicles. He has them in here. So there's a hell of a list. And if you ever want to know the name of something that he added, you just go through these. And this is full modern traffic. This is a lot of work, because I went through this the other day to find the motorcycles that he worked on. All right. That's all it is. Remember, I told you that installing Los Santos Red involves copy paste or drag drop. Either those two methods right there. I'm going to categorize them into the same thing, because it's basically, like a drag and drop, a copy and paste, or you have to use OpenIV, Open4 to install the OIV files. That's it. And if you did everything correctly, and if you have everything in its proper location, it will work. It will work. That's all it is. Now you're probably going to kick yourself in the head to see how simple it is. Now I understand maybe I didn't explain things clear enough for you and you may have questions. I have no problem of someone coming into the Discord and they are like, I still don't understand. Don't be insulted by me not understanding how you cannot understand, okay? Because our thinking may be different. I'm in the Discord, I may sound pretty rough. I like to get to the point. Now in my videos, I take a little bit of time because typing, I'm having a hard time seeing that shit. I usually have to use text to speech to help me see what is written in the Discord. So I like to get to the point. So I'm not, it's almost like I'm biffing you upside the head. All right. Don't take it personal. It does get frustrating. I'm not going to lie. It does get frustrating, but in the end, even if I'm frustrated helping you out, in the end, we get that working. We get you to have that knowledge to get the mod working. I am happy. I'm happy as hell. Okay. So don't let your feelings be controlled by someone on the internet. Okay. In the Discord, if you ask me for help, I may come off as a little gruff or a little rough or like an old man, grumpy old fart. Okay. I'm gonna come off as that. Because I explain things. I try to explain it to the best of my ability to have someone understand. And sometimes it gets frustrating when you have, several people coming in with the same question and you just answered it. It does get very frustrating, but I'm not mad at you. I'm not, I just don't take it personal. It is the internet. If we were sitting here side by side, it's so much easier for me to have you do it as I'm explaining something, but we don't have that ability because unless you live next door to me, right? So don't take it personal. It's just the way that I am. And I love helping people out. I really love getting people involved with this mod. I think this mod is fantastic. And I don't want to discourage you. I may also mention, you're asking for a feature. When I point you, let's say you come in and ask for a specific feature. Well, that takes coding, right? And that coding, let me just show you here real quick. That coding is done over here. We go to it, the GitHub. This is what makes up Los Santos Red. Okay, let's just go here. Let's go here. Let's just go here. Let's just pick something. Let's just pick something. Let's pick player. Where's player at? Player right here. Activity. Let's pick activity. Now you see all these CS, activity manager, CS, and all this stuff. This is all that has to be coded in. This is not a good example. This is really small. Well, here's Garjack, but this car, yeah. So this has to be done by somebody, and that somebody usually is Gresk or some of the other people. Peter Bedoingi, I know he's done stuff in here. Ben, how's it? Oh my gosh, I am absolutely murdering, slaughtering people's usernames. Ben Star. How's a sheer, I believe. There's other people that, forgive me if I didn't mention you, that do pull requests, and offer up coding. So you see all this, somebody has to do it. Somebody has to do it. So when I say, hey, if you'd like that, if you want to learn, I'm going to probably sound rough. You know, why don't you head over to the GitHub and see about adding it in and do a pull request? I don't mean to sound like an ass. It's hard to express yourself tone-wise over the internet, over text. So I just shorten it and say, hey, and it sounds like, you know, what the fuck? He's being an asshole. I'm not being an asshole. I'm actually pointing you into a direction to where if you are able to code, this is open source. Please, if you have a feature and you know how to code, please do it and do a pull request and see if it gets added, right? So I'm not trying to be an asshole. I'm just actually trying to, if someone brought it up to me that, you know, you don't really necessarily have to sound like that. What the fuck? I'm just pointing them to it. But I understand their point of view. I actually find it kind of funny because, anyways, that's how you install Santos Red. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. If I confused you, I'm sorry. I will try to break it down even more for you. Okay? We'll see y'all. Oh, wait. You know what? Before I go, let's take a look here. Let's take a look here in these alternative configs, because you're going to see something here. Variations, full. So you see how these are named, and you see these XMLs with the plus sign, the plus underscore, right? The ones with just the underscore, that completely overwrites the default XMLs in the main. Okay, so we can use my setup as an example. So the county jurisdictions for full expanded jurisdiction, you see it's just an underscore because it has an underscore and a name after it. That's when you know it's an add-on. If it's just county jurisdictions.xml, that's a default XML. That's the vanilla version of Santos Red. When you have an underscore and a name, when it's an underscore and a name, that takes the default, right? It keeps that information, adds to it because for some reason or another, it wasn't allowed to do a stackable, which I'll explain here in a minute. The stackable is the XMLs with a plus underscore name. The plus underscore name, all that does is it contains the information needed. I can show you this in Notepad really, really quick if I'm making this video longer than it has to be. Yeah, I don't need this anymore, do I? So let's, we don't need that. So let's go ahead and take a look at, gangs would be a perfect one for it. So this right here is the default gangs XML. Wait, this is the wrong one because I had downloaded that to check out something. I need to check out some files. And so we're going here. Santos Red. Okay, we're going to go down to gangs. This right here is the default. And I'm going to do this. I'm going to put one of my configs in for the above the law config. All right. So we're going to do that. I'm going to move this over to the right. So you're going to see here, this right here on the left-hand side, this whole thing is default of the gangs. It's a list of all the gangs in the game, in the mod. The one I made has a plus underscore feature, the one over here on the left, on the right. You see that the very beginning of it, I'm going to take this one and go back to the very beginning. Mine is different. And you're going to notice here real quick, it's very different. Remember how this one contains, let's just go ahead and do this, 2010 lines. Mine contains 108. Why is that? That is because I don't need all of this information. I just need the information of the gang that I'm putting into, that I made and I'm putting into the mod. You see what I'm saying? So I don't need all of that that's on the left-hand side in my file because it is a stackable feature. Not all XMLs work like that, but a majority of them do. So all you need is the information, and this, I just realized this is lined up wrong. Information needed. That's it. Anyways, maybe that'll be for a different video, but as of right now, we're done. Like I said, if you have any questions, concerns, I have to cough. Oh yeah, these videos are long. If you have any questions or concerns, please don't hesitate to ask in the Discord. I will do my best, or someone will come in and do their best to help you out. And don't be offended by how I talk. That is just how I talk. Over the internet, through text. If you're in person with me, it sounds totally different because, as we all know, text doesn't relay sound. Anyways, you all stay safe. We'll see you next time.